I'm 52 years old, and I've learned that surprises are rarely good news. But standing at the organic honey booth in Harris Teeter on a Tuesday afternoon, watching this blonde woman reach for the same lavender sample my fingers are hovering over, I feel something I haven't felt in years, a spark. Her hand pauses midair, and she laughs, this warm, cascading sound that makes my chest tighten. "You first," she says, her blue eyes crinkling at the corners. "We could share." The words come out before I can stop them, and suddenly we're both dipping tiny wooden spoons into golden honey, and her smile is doing things to my pulse I don't want to examine too closely. I'm Bianca. Megan. We drift from booth to booth like it's the most natural thing in the world, her laugh infectious as we sample aged cheddar and debate the merits of Kalamata versus Castelvetrano olives. She tells me she's new to Charlotte, working as a nanny for a family in Myers Park, and something about the way she holds eye contact makes my skin feel too tight. "The kids want to go hiking," she says, pushing blonde hair behind her ear, "but I don't know the trails here. Any recommendations?" I hand her my business card without thinking twice. "I guide climbs and day hikes. Call me." Her fingers brush mine as she takes it, and damn if that simple touch doesn't send electricity straight through me. 3 days later, Bianca shows up at my trailhead office with 2 energetic kids bouncing around her legs. But her eyes keep finding mine instead of the mountain maps spread across my desk, and I realize with a jolt that this woman didn't drive 40 minutes for the children's sake. "These are Emma and Josh," she says. "Their father wants them to experience nature." I kneel down to the kids' level, explaining the easy trail we'll take, but I'm hyper-aware of Bianca's presence behind me, the subtle scent of her perfume mixing with pine and earth. The first hike is torture in the best possible way. Bianca keeps brushing against me on narrow paths, her breath warm on my neck when I point out a hawk's nest in the distant pines. I'm acting like a damn teenager, my heart racing every time her shoulder meets mine. "Careful here," I say, offering my hand over a rocky section. Her palm slides into mine, warm and certain, and she holds on 3 seconds longer than necessary. Emma and Josh run ahead, their voices echoing through the forest, giving us a pocket of privacy. Bianca moves closer, ostensibly to see the view better, but her arm presses against mine and neither of us steps away. "You do this every day?" she asks. "Most days. Mountains don't judge you." She turns to look at me then, really look. And something passes between us that has nothing to do with hiking, or children, or appropriate professional boundaries. At the lodge afterward, I suggest coffee. The kids demolish hot chocolate and cookies, while Bianca and I sit across from each other, and suddenly words are spilling out of her about divorce, about moving to Charlotte to start over, about feeling lost in ways that have nothing to do with trail markers. "I spent 10 years trying to be someone I wasn't," she says quietly, her fingers wrapped around the mug. "Marriage to a man who loved the idea of me but never saw me." My throat tightens. I know that particular hell. Her hand slides across the table, covers mine, and I don't pull away even though my heart is screaming that this is dangerous, that I am too old for whatever this is, that I stopped believing in these kinds of connections 15 years ago when my ex-husband walked out. But Bianca's touch is warm and real, and when she asks if we can do this again, I hear myself saying yes. We start meeting twice weekly, and I tell myself it's professional, just advanced hiking lessons for someone who wants to learn the terrain. But really, it's so I can watch the way Bianca moves through the forest, hear her voice call out when she spots a deer, feel alive in ways I thought were dead and buried. She's getting bolder too. On narrow switchbacks, she'll grab my waist for balance when she doesn't need to. When I'm pointing out trail markers, she stands close enough that I can feel her body heat through my jacket. The kids aren't with us anymore. We stopped pretending this was about them after the second hike. "Tell me about your ex-husband," she says one afternoon, as we rest on a granite outcrop overlooking the city. Not much to tell. He wanted a wife who stayed home and stayed quiet. I wanted to breathe. And now? Now I climb mountains and try not to want things I shouldn't have. Bianca's hand finds mine on the sun-warmed rock. What if those things want you back? Before I can answer, the sky opens up. Rain comes fast and brutal, and we run for the nearest shelter, a 3-sided lean-to halfway up Crowder's Mountain. We're soaked through, breathing hard, and suddenly the space between us feels charged with more than just the storm. Lightning cracks overhead, close enough to make her jump. She moves into me, and I can count the drops of water on her eyelashes, see the pulse beating in her throat. Her hand comes up to my face, fingers tracing my jaw, and I should step back, but I can't. I won't. "Megan," she whispers, and it's a question and an answer all at once. Then her lips are on mine, soft and questioning, tasting like rain and something sweeter. I freeze for a heartbeat before kissing her back, my hands finding her waist, pulling her closer. She makes this small sound in the back of her throat that breaks something open inside me, and I'm 52 years old and kissing a woman for the first time, and it feels like coming home. When we finally break apart, we're both shaking, and it's not from the cold. "I've been wanting to do that since the honey booth," she admits. "I know. I could tell. And you?" "I've been terrified of wanting it back." The rain continues its assault on the roof, but inside the shelter, wrapped in Bianca's arms, I feel safer than I have in decades. My climbing partner Dana notices the change immediately. She corners me at the gear shop 3 days later, arms crossed, eyes knowing. "You're seeing someone." "What makes you say that?" "Megan, I've known you 15 years. You're practically glowing." "Who is it?" I pretend to examine carabiners, my face burning. "Someone I met recently. And it's complicated." Dana's quiet for a moment, then says gently, "It's a woman, isn't it?" I can't lie to her. Not to Dana, who's been my best friend through the divorce and the lonely years after. "Yes. It's about damn time," she says, pulling me into a hug. "You deserve to be happy." That night, Bianca invites me to her apartment for dinner. The kid's father gave her the evening off, and the way she says it makes my stomach flip. This isn't about hiking or friendship or anything we can pretend away. Her place is small but warm, filled with plants and soft lighting. She's made pasta and opened wine, and we eat and talk and laugh, but underneath it all runs this current of tension, of anticipation. "I keep thinking about the shelter," she says, refilling our glasses. "About kissing you." "Me too." "I want to do it again." I stand, cross to where she's leaning against the kitchen counter. "Then do it." This time there's no hesitation, no gentle questioning. She kisses me hard, her hands fisting in my shirt, and I push her back against the counter, swallowing her gasp. Her lips part, and I taste wine and want. And when my hands slide up her sides, she arches into me, breathing my name like a prayer. We break apart only when we need air, foreheads pressed together, hearts racing in tandem. "Stay," she whispers. And damn me, I do. We fall into a pattern over the next 6 weeks that feels dangerous and inevitable all at once. Official hiking lessons twice a week, coffee dates that stretch into dinner, stolen kisses in parking lots when we think no one's watching. I'm careful at first, paranoid even. Because Charlotte isn't exactly a small town, but it's not anonymous either. Bianca doesn't seem to share my caution. She reaches for my hand in public, leans into me at restaurants, and every time she does it my heart races with equal parts terror and exhilaration. I'm 52 and I've never held another woman's hand where people could see, never kissed anyone but my ex-husband in daylight. "You're overthinking again," she says one afternoon, as we hike the advanced trail up Reedy Creek. "I can literally see the wheels turning in your head. Someone could recognize us. So what if they do?" I don't have a good answer for that, so I kiss her instead. Quick and hard, tasting the salt of her sweat and the mint gum she's always chewing. When I pull back, she's smiling like she just won something. Dana catches on faster than I expected. She shows up at the trailhead office unannounced, finds me reorganizing equipment I've already organized twice, and plants herself in front of my desk. Spill. "What? You've been humming, Megan. You never hum. And you're wearing mascara to work." My face goes hot. It's not a big deal. Right. So who is she? The question hangs between us, and I realize I'm tired of hiding, tired of treating this thing with Bianca like it's shameful. Her name's Bianca. She's 33. She's a nanny, and she makes me feel like I'm not just surviving anymore. Dana's face softens. "Good. You deserve that. Bring her by the shop sometime. I want to meet the woman who got you to wear makeup." That evening, Bianca texts asking if I want to come over. The kids are at their father's for the weekend, and the implication in those words makes my mouth go dry. I shower, change 3 times like I'm 17 again, and drive to her apartment with my hands shaking on the wheel. She answers the door in jeans and a soft sweater that makes her eyes look impossibly blue. Hi. Hi. We stare at each other for a beat too long, and then she's pulling me inside, kicking the door shut, and kissing me like she's been starving for it. I walk her backward through the living room, knocking into furniture we both ignore, until we're in her small kitchen, and I'm pressing her against the counter. I've been thinking about you all day, she gasps between kisses. Show me. Her hands slide under my shirt, fingers tracing patterns on my skin that make me shiver. I kiss down her neck, feeling her pulse race under my lips, and she makes these small sounds that undo me completely. We're moving too fast and not fast enough, and when she tugs me toward her bedroom, I follow without question. The wine we opened sits forgotten on the counter as clothes start coming off, as I learn the landscape of her body in the golden lamplight. She's beautiful and bold, and when my hands map her curves, she arches into my touch, gasping encouragement that makes my head spin. Later, tangled in sheets that smell like her lavender laundry detergent, she traces lazy circles on my shoulder. Stay the night. I shouldn't. But will you? I look at her, blonde hair spread across the pillow, blue eyes soft and hopeful, and I can't remember why I'm supposed to say no. Yes. We fall asleep wrapped around each other, and when I wake at 3 a.m. with her breath warm against my neck, I realize I haven't felt this safe since before my marriage fell apart. Maybe longer. Maybe ever. The morning brings coffee in bed, and slow kisses that taste like cream and sugar. Bianca sits cross-legged in an oversized shirt, and I'm in my clothes from yesterday, and it should feel awkward, but it doesn't. I want to do this again, she says. Not just the sleeping over part, all of it. Regular dates, meeting each other's friends, being together for real. My chest tightens with want and fear in equal measure. People will talk. Let them talk. I spent 10 years in a marriage where I was invisible. I'm done hiding. She says it so simply, like being brave is easy, and maybe for her it is. But looking at her determined face, I realize I want to try. I want to be as fearless as she is. Okay, I say. Let's do this for real. We get careless. That's the truth of it. 3 months into whatever this is, we stop looking over our shoulders, stop worrying about who might see us leaving each other's places at odd hours. I meet her at the coffee shop near her apartment every Thursday morning, and we sit too close, our knees touching under the table. Marcus, the father of the kids Bianca watches, starts showing up at pickups. He's always been punctual but distant, barely making eye contact when he collects Emma and Josh. Now he lingers, asks pointed questions about Bianca's hiking hobby, mentions he's seen my truck in her apartment complex on weekends. He's suspicious, Bianca tells me one night over takeout at my cabin. He keeps asking if I have a boyfriend, if I'm distracted from the kids. Are you distracted? Maybe. But not in any way that matters to them. She stabs at her Kung Pao chicken. I think someone told him something. The words settle like stones in my stomach. Charlotte's not huge, and Myers Park is the kind of neighborhood where people watch, where gossip flows like water. I've been so focused on my own fear, I forgot that Bianca has more to lose. A job that pays her rent, a reputation in a wealthy enclave where traditional still means something. We should cool things down, I say, hating the words even as they leave my mouth. Just until this blows over. No. Bianca? I said no. She stands, paces my small kitchen. I'm not going back in the closet because some father is nosy. I'm not hiding us. You could lose your job. Then I'll find another one. We argue in circles until we're both exhausted, and when she finally leaves that night, the air between us feels brittle, like one wrong word could shatter everything. 2 days later, she shows up at my cabin unannounced. It's raining again, seems like it's always raining when everything goes sideways, and she's soaked through and furious. He fired me. What? Marcus. Said he's going in a different direction, gave me 2 weeks severance. She's shaking, from cold or anger I can't tell. He wouldn't say why, but I know. Someone saw us, told him, and now I'm out. I pull her inside, wrap her in a blanket, but she pushes away from my comfort, pacing like a caged thing. This is exactly what I was afraid of, I start, but she rounds on me. Don't you dare make this about your fear. I'm just saying we should have been more careful. More careful? You mean more ashamed? The words hit like a slap. We stand there, breathing hard, staring at each other across my living room, and I realize we're at a crossroads. I can let my fear win, can push her away to protect us both from more pain. Or I can step off the cliff and trust the fall. I'm not ashamed, I say quietly. I'm terrified. There's a difference. Her face softens slightly. Of what? Of losing you. Of not being enough. Of being 52 and in love for the first time in my life and having no idea how to do this right. The word love hangs between us, unplanned and raw. Bianca goes still. Say that again. I love you. It comes easier the second time, and I'm sorry. For suggesting we hide, for not being as brave as you. She crosses to me then, closes the distance I've been maintaining, and kisses me soft and searching. I love you too, she whispers against my lips. Even when you're being an idiot. We don't make it to the bedroom this time. The couch is closer, and we're done talking, done fighting. I pull her down on top of me and she comes willingly, desperately, her hands already working at my shirt buttons. Rain drums against the windows as clothes scatter across the floor, as I map every inch of her skin with my hands and mouth until she's gasping my name. She returns the favor with an intensity that leaves me breathless, her touch confident and claiming, and when we're both spent and tangled together on the narrow couch, I think maybe this is what people mean when they talk about home. We'll figure it out, she says into my shoulder. The job, the money, all of it. Together? Yeah, together. Marcus pays Bianca through the end of the month, which gives us 3 weeks to figure out her next move. We spend those weeks helping her pack the apartment she can no longer afford, boxing up books and clothes and the small life she built here. It's during one of these marathon packing sessions that everything changes. I'm emptying the dresser in her bedroom when a photograph slides out from behind a drawer, caught in the gap between wood and wall. It's old, the colors faded to that particular 70s palette of burnt orange and avocado green. 2 women stand close together, arms around each other's waists, smiling at the camera with a boldness that makes my chest tight. What's this? I ask, holding it up. Bianca goes pale. She crosses the room in 3 strides and snatches the photo from my hand, staring at it like it might bite her. Where did you find this? Behind the drawer. Who are they? She sinks onto the bed, still clutching the photograph. That's my mother, Catherine, and her friend Ruth. The way she says friend makes it clear they were anything but. I sit beside her, waiting, and after a long moment she starts talking. My mother was in love with Ruth. They met in college, were together for 4 years. But this was Tennessee in the 70s and her parents found out. Bianca's voice goes flat. They threatened to disown her, cut her off completely. So she broke it off with Ruth, married my father 6 months later, and spent the next 30 years pretending to be someone she wasn't. Jesus. She died when I was 25. Cancer. But I think it was really just that she was tired. Bianca traces her mother's face in the photo. I found a box of letters after she passed, dozens of them from Ruth. They never saw each other again, but Ruth wrote her every year on the anniversary of when they met. My mother kept every single one. Understanding crashes over me. That's why you divorced your husband. I couldn't do it. Couldn't become her ghost, living half a life because it was easier than being honest. She looks at me then, eyes bright with unshed tears. And then I met you, and I knew I'd rather lose everything than end up like her. I pull her close, and she cries into my shoulder. Grief for a mother who never got to be free mixing with fear that history might repeat itself. I hold her and promise things I'm not sure I can deliver. That we'll be different, that times have changed, that love doesn't have to mean sacrifice anymore. But even as I say it, I'm not sure I believe it. The next week, Bianca withdraws. She stops answering my calls, doesn't respond to texts. When I finally track her down at the bookstore on Providence Road, she looks hollowed out, like someone carved away everything vital and left just the shell. We need to talk, she says. We end up at a coffee shop neither of us has been to before, anonymous and safe. She stares at her untouched latte and says the words I've been dreading. I can't do this. Can't do what? Us. This. Any of it. Her voice is mechanical. I thought I could be brave like you said, but I keep seeing my mother's face in that photo, remembering how she wasted her whole life being afraid. What if that's me? What if I'm just like her, doomed to the same ending? You're not her. How do you know? She finally looks at me, and the pain in her eyes is unbearable. I got fired for being with you, Megan. Lost my job, my apartment, everything I built here. What if it keeps happening? What if I lose everything? Then we'll build something new. But she's shaking her head, already standing, already leaving. I'm sorry, I can't risk becoming her ghost. She walks out, and I sit there with 2 cooling cups of coffee and the wreckage of the first real thing I've felt in decades. Dana finds me 3 days later attempting a solo climb of a route that's too advanced for one person, too dangerous in the rain that started falling. She reads me the riot act all the way down, and I let her because she's right, and also because I'm too numb to argue. Space doesn't mean forever, she says when we're back at the lodge, toweling off. Give her time to process. But time feels like torture, and I throw myself into work, taking every dangerous climb anyone requests, pushing my body until exhaustion drowns out the ache in my chest. 2 weeks without Bianca feels like drowning in slow motion. I take every climb Dana won't talk me out of, pushing limits I know better than to push. My body protests the abuse, but my mind craves the distraction, anything to avoid the silence where her voice used to be. It's a stupid wet rock that finally does me in. I'm leading a technical climb up a face near Table Rock when my foot slips and suddenly I'm falling, rope catching hard enough to knock the wind out of me. My ankle twists wrong on impact, pain exploding white-hot through my leg. Dana gets me down and drives me to the ER, cursing me out the entire way. You trying to kill yourself or just prove a point? Neither. Both. I don't know. The ER doctor says it's a bad sprain. Not broken but close enough. They wrap it, give me crutches, and tell me to stay off it for 3 weeks minimum. I'm staring at the discharge papers when I hear her voice. Megan? Bianca stands in the doorway of the exam room, still wearing her coat, looking wrecked. Her blonde hair is pulled back messily, no makeup, eyes red-rimmed like she hasn't slept in days. How did you know I was here? Dana called me. Said you did something stupid and I should probably show up before you did something stupider. I want to be angry at Dana's interference, but I can't manage it. Not when Bianca's crossing the room. Not when she's reaching for my hand like she has every right to it. What were you thinking? Her voice cracks. You could have died. Wasn't really thinking much at all. Because of me. It's not a question. I nod anyway, and she makes this sound that's half sob, half laugh. You idiot. You absolute idiot. Then she's kissing me, right there in the ER with nurses walking past and monitors beeping, kissing me like she's trying to make up for 2 weeks of absence in a single moment. I kiss back just as desperately, tasting salt from tears I'm not sure belonged to her or me or both of us. I'm sorry, she whispers against my lips. I'm so sorry. I was scared and stupid, and I hurt us both for no damn reason. You were protecting yourself. From what? From being happy? She pulls back enough to look at me. Running didn't work, Megan. I thought putting distance between us would make it hurt less, but it just made everything worse. I kept seeing you everywhere, reaching for my phone to text you, turning around to tell you something, only to remember you weren't there. I know the feeling. A nurse pokes her head in, raises an eyebrow at our position, and asks if I need anything. I shake my head and she leaves with a knowing smile. Bianca helps me off the exam table, steadies me, as I get my balance with the crutches. Take me home? I ask. Your place or mine? Don't have a mine anymore, she says quietly. Moved my stuff into storage last week, been crashing with a friend. Then definitely mine. We pick up the pain medication prescription and drive to my cabin in comfortable silence, her hand resting on my thigh the whole way. Inside, she fusses over getting me settled on the couch, propping my ankle on pillows, bringing water and the pills. I saw Dr. Reeves, she says once I'm situated. A therapist Dana recommended. Spent the last week talking about my mother, about fear, about how I was letting her story write mine. What did you figure out? That I'm not her. That it's not the 70s anymore. That loving you doesn't mean I have to disappear. She sits beside me, careful not to jostle my leg. And that I want to try again, if you'll let me. Do it right this time, no running, no hiding. What about the fear? Still there, probably always will be. She takes my hand, laces our fingers together. But being without you was worse than being afraid, so I'm choosing the fear. Choosing us. I pull her close, breathing in the familiar scent of her shampoo, feeling something in my chest unclench for the first time in weeks. Dr. Reeves any good? Really good, actually. She specializes in relationships, identity stuff. I think we should both go. Together? If you want. I know I'm asking a lot, asking you to work through my mess with me. It's our mess now, I say. And yeah, I want to. Whatever it takes. She kisses me again. Slower this time, sweeter. When we break apart, she's smiling. The first real smile I've seen from her since everything fell apart. Dana's pretty smart, calling me like that. Remind me to thank her. And also maybe kill her a little for the interference. Bianca laughs, and the sound fills my cabin like light, like hope, like all the things I thought I'd lost forever. That night in the hospital parking lot, before we drive to my cabin, Bianca pulls me close despite the crutches between us. She kisses me with an urgency that steals my breath, apologies tumbling between our lips faster than I can process them. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I should never have... I kiss back just as hard, tasting the salt from tears I'm not sure belong to her or me. Stop apologizing and just stay. I'm not going anywhere. Not this time. We start therapy the following week with Dr. Reeves, a woman in her 60s with kind eyes, and an office that smells like lavender. The first session is awkward, both of us dancing around the real issues, but by the third week we're naming our fears out loud, and it's harder than any mountain face I've climbed. Tell me what scared you most, Dr. Reeves asks Bianca during one session. Becoming invisible. Like my mother, loving someone so much that I disappear into the shame of it. And you, Megan? I stare at my hands, the calluses from years of climbing ropes, not being enough, being too old, too damaged, too afraid, losing her because I couldn't figure out how to be brave. Dr. Reeves leans forward. What if brave doesn't mean fearless? What if it just means choosing each other anyway? The words settle between us like a promise. And when Bianca reaches for my hand, I take it, hold on tight. By week 6, my ankle's healed enough that I'm back to easy climbs. Bianca's found new work with a family in Dilworth who don't ask questions about her personal life, who see her as competent and kind and nothing more. We fall into a rhythm that feels steadier than before, built on honesty instead of heat. Weekend trips to the mountains where we camp under stars and talk until dawn. Quiet dinners at my cabin where she cooks and I clean, and we move around each other like we've been doing this for years instead of months. Learning that love doesn't have to be secret or shameful or small. Dana throws a dinner party 6 months in, ostensibly just friends getting together, but I know what it really is. She wants to meet Bianca properly, wants to see us together in a safe space. I'm nervous in a way I haven't been since high school. They'll love you, I tell Bianca as we drive over. What if they don't? Then they're idiots and we leave. But Dana takes one look at us together. The way Bianca's hand finds mine automatically. The way I lean into her touch without thinking, and grins. About damn time you brought her around. The evening unfolds easy and warm. Dana's girlfriend Emma makes everyone laugh with stories from the climbing gym. Bianca holds her own, trading jokes and asking questions, and watching her fit into this part of my life makes my chest tight with something that might be joy. Later, in Dana's kitchen while we're getting more wine, she pulls me aside. She's good for you. Haven't seen you this settled in years. I know. You gonna make it official? Move in together or something? The question catches me off guard, but before I can answer, Bianca appears in the doorway, 2 empty glasses in hand, and the way she smiles at me makes the answer obvious. Yeah, I say, looking at her. Yeah, I think we are. That night we drive back to my cabin in comfortable silence, her hand on my thigh, the radio playing something soft. Inside, I pull her close and kiss her properly. No audience, no time limit, just us. Move in with me, I say against her lips. She pulls back to study my face. You sure? Never been more sure of anything. We're already spending every night together anyway. Might as well make it official. What about your space, your independence? Turns out I don't want space from you. Turns out I want you taking up room in my closet and leaving coffee mugs all over my cabin and being the first thing I see every morning. Her eyes go bright. That's the most romantic thing you've ever said. Is that a yes? Yes. God. Yes. I kiss her again, deeper this time, walking her backward toward the bedroom. She goes willingly, hands already working at my shirt buttons, and we shed clothes in a trail across the floor. In my bed, with moonlight striping across her skin, I take my time relearning every curve, every sound she makes when I touch her just right. She returns the favor with a confidence that still surprises me, her hands and mouth mapping territory that somehow feels new every time. When we're both gasping and spent, tangled in sheets that smell like us, she traces patterns on my shoulder and whispers, I love you. I love you too. Even when I'm leaving coffee mugs everywhere? Especially then. Bianca moves in over the course of 2 weekends, bringing boxes of books and kitchen gadgets I didn't know existed. My cabin transforms slowly, her plants appearing on windowsills, her hiking boots next to mine by the door, her laughter filling spaces that have been silent too long. You have 4 spatulas, I say, unpacking one of her kitchen boxes. Different spatulas for different jobs. They're all flat pieces of plastic. She kisses me to stop the argument, and I let her because watching her make my space ours is better than winning any debate about kitchen equipment. 3 months into living together, Bianca announces she wants to get her junior guide certification. I'm training a group when she brings it up, and the pride that surges through me is almost overwhelming. You sure? It's tough work, long hours. I watch you do it every day. I want to learn. Plus then we could lead trips together. The idea of working side by side, sharing this part of my life with her fully, makes something click into place. We start training immediately, and she takes to it like she was born for it, learning knots and safety protocols with the same determination she brought to everything else. Dana helps with the technical training, and watching Bianca rappel down a cliff face with increasing confidence makes my heart do things I'm too old to be experiencing. She's fearless in ways I'm still learning, younger and bolder and absolutely beautiful. She's a natural, Dana tells me after one session. You two are going to make a hell of a team. 6 months after moving in, we take our first joint client group up Grandfather Mountain. Bianca leads the beginners while I handle the advanced climbers, and seeing her command respect, watching her guide others with patience and skill, fills me with a pride that borders on ridiculous. At the summit, she turns to me, wind whipping her blonde hair wild around her face, and there's something in her expression that makes my breath catch. The clients are taking photos, admiring the view, and Bianca steps close, reaches into her jacket pocket. I know this might seem fast, she says, voice barely audible over the wind, but I've learned that life's too short to wait for the right moment. Sometimes you just have to jump. She pulls out a small silver band, simple and perfect, and my heart stops. Megan Harris, will you keep climbing with me, not just mountains but life, all of it, for whatever years we have left? I'm 52 years old, standing on a mountain peak, and this 33-year-old woman is proposing to me like it's the most natural thing in the world. My eyes blur with tears I don't bother hiding. Yes. God, yes. She slides the ring onto my finger, and I pull her into a kiss, deep and claiming, not caring that our clients are cheering and taking photos. Let them. Let the whole damn mountain see. I love you, I say against her lips. I love you too. Even when you argue about spatulas. That night, back at the cabin, we celebrate properly. Bianca opens champagne while I order takeout, and we eat sitting on the floor by the fireplace like kids at a sleepover. The ring catches the light every time I move my hand, and I can't stop staring at it. No big wedding, she says, reading my thoughts. Just us, and maybe Dana and Emma. Something simple. Perfect. Later, in our bedroom, I show her exactly how perfect I think she is. Her dress slides off like water, and I take my time, hands and mouth mapping every inch of skin until she's gasping my name and pulling me closer. She returns the favor with an intensity that leaves me breathless, her touch confident and worshipful, and when we're both trembling and spent, wrapped around each other in sheets that smell like us, I think this is what home feels like. I can't believe you proposed on a mountain, I say into her shoulder. Where else would I do it? That's where we started. Fair point. She traces the ring on my finger. No regrets? Not a single one. You? Just that I waited so long to ask. I kiss her slowly, tasting champagne and promise. Outside the window, stars blanket the North Carolina sky, and inside everything that matters is right here, warm and real and mine. We get married on a Tuesday morning in October, just the four of us on a trail overlooking the Blue Ridge Mountains. Dana officiates with a license she got online, and Emma takes photos on her phone while Bianca and I say vows we wrote at 3 a.m. over too much wine. I promise to always reach for your hand on narrow paths, Bianca says, voice steady despite the tears tracking down her face, to never let fear make us small, to choose us every single day even when it's hard. My turn, and the words stick in my throat for a moment. I promise to be brave enough to match you, to build a life where we don't have to hide, to love you exactly as you are for whatever time we have left. Dana pronounces us married and we kiss, while Emma cheers, and somewhere below us, Charlotte spreads out like proof that we made it, that we're here and real and together. The celebration dinner is at our favorite Italian place, the one where we had our third official date. The owner, Maria, brings out champagne on the house when we tell her the news, kissing both our cheeks and saying something in rapid Italian that sounds like a blessing. Life settles into a rhythm that feels earned rather than easy. Bianca's certification comes through in November, and we start taking joint clients regularly. Watching her lead groups up trails we've climbed together dozens of times never gets old, her confidence growing with each trip. Dana's gear shop becomes our unofficial headquarters, the place where clients find us and friends gather. She starts keeping a photo wall of successful climbs, and slowly pictures of Bianca and me appear alongside the others, proof that we exist, that our love takes up space in the world. One Saturday in December, we're prepping for a winter climb when a teenage girl approaches our station. She's maybe 17, nervous energy radiating off her in waves. Are you the guides? She asks. That's us, Bianca says warmly. You interested in climbing? The girl glances at her parents waiting by the door, then back at us. I saw your picture on the wall. You two are married? I tense automatically, old instincts kicking in, but Bianca just smiles. We are. That's cool. The girl's voice drops. I'm Jess. I think I might be gay, and my parents don't know, and I just wanted to see that it was possible. To be happy like that. My chest tightens. Bianca reaches across the counter, doesn't quite touch the girl, but the gesture is there. It's possible. It's not always easy, but it's possible. Do you ever get scared? All the time, I say, surprising myself. But being scared doesn't mean you can't also be happy. Jess nods, thanks us quietly, and rejoins her parents. They don't book a climb, but it doesn't matter. As she leaves, Bianca's hand finds mine and squeezes. We did that, she says softly, just by existing. Spring brings new clients and longer days. We take a group up Grandfather Mountain in March, veterans now, moving together like we've been doing this for decades instead of months. At the summit, Bianca gathers everyone for the traditional photo, and I stand beside her with wind whipping through my hair, and think about how far we've come. From a honey booth in Harris Teeter to here to this moment to a life I never imagined I'd get to live. What are you thinking about? Bianca asks later as we're hiking down. That I'm 52 and married to a woman and leading climbs for a living, and none of it looks like I thought it would. Disappointed? Opposite of disappointed. Grateful, stunned, happy in ways I didn't know existed. She kisses me quick, mindful of the clients ahead, but her smile says everything her lips can't in public. We finish the descent as the sun sets, painting the mountains in shades of gold and rose, and I realize this is what people mean when they talk about coming home. Not a place, but a person. Not safety, but risk worth taking. Not the absence of fear, but choosing love anyway. That night at the cabin, Bianca falls asleep curled against me, her breathing deep and even, one hand resting over my heart. Through the window, stars scatter across the North Carolina sky, same stars that watched me struggle through a lonely marriage. Same stars that saw me standing at that honey booth reaching for something I couldn't name. I understand now what I was reaching for. Not just Bianca, but possibility, permission, a future where I get to be fully myself without apology. The ring on my finger catches moonlight, and I think about Jess, about all the kids like her who need to see that it's possible, that happiness exists on the other side of fear. We're not perfect. We still argue about spatulas and who forgot to buy coffee, and whether 4 a.m. is too early for a training hike. But we're real, we're here, and we're building something that matters. I close my eyes and let sleep take me, Bianca's warmth solid against my side, and for the first time in 52 years, I'm not afraid of what morning might bring.